So when I look at the overall situation for the industry as a whole in the US, it's not very bright. It's far removed from what it was just a few months ago.
Stellantis, the parent company of Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Chrysler, is under an immense amount of pressure right now. They are on the brink of bankruptcy, and to get sales going, they are giving their cars away for extremely cheap. But what is the catch? Are there hidden things that come with that steep discount? What does this mean for you and the industry? And what the heck is happening? How did we get here? Well, this situation doesn't just spell trouble for these brands. It's sending shockwaves through the entire automotive industry. And let me tell you, the landscape isn't looking pretty at all. Sure, these iconic names, all part of the expansive Stellantis family, are facing their own internal conflicts, and it seems they're making one questionable decision after another. But the mess they're steeped in goes far beyond simply being a series of poor choices. So what's actually happening behind the scenes? What's really at play here? The unfortunate truth is that the challenges weighing down Stellantis are part of a much larger trend that's sweeping through the automotive market right now. And here's the real kicker: we, the consumers, are the ones who are ultimately going to pay the price for this chaos. The truly disheartening reality? It might already be too late for us to change the course of this ship before it encounters rough waters. What began as a seemingly minor ripple effect during the pandemic has now morphed into a significant tidal wave that has led to a considerable downturn in new car sales, which continue to lag behind the more prosperous years before the pandemic. That's right, while various sectors have managed to recover and bounce back, the automotive industry still can't find its footing, and Stellantis seems to be feeling the squeeze more than many of its competitors. Now, you might be wondering, why should we even care about all this? Let's dive into the data, because the numbers reveal a chilling story. But before we get there, subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out. Why does this matter? First of all, you need to understand how much the sales of Stellantis' brands have plummeted alarmingly. In just the past 5 years, Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler have endured a jaw-dropping 39% decline in sales figures. If that's hard to swallow, let's take a closer look at Dodge. Their sales have nosedived sharply, experiencing a startling 67% drop since they peaked in the year 2013. Jeep isn't riding high either. It has suffered a significant 44% decline since its glory days in 2018, managing to sell only 642,924 vehicles in 2023. Can you wrap your head around that? That's the lowest sales number they've seen in more than a decade, which is nothing short of alarming. The implications of these declining sales figures are hard to brush aside. Dealerships are beginning to feel the intense pressure as consumers are now seeking out more appealing alternatives. The excitement surrounding new vehicle launches has fizzled dramatically, leaving potential buyers feeling uninspired, disenchanted, and ready to venture elsewhere in search of something better. And let's not ignore the looming issue of inventory, which is another crucial factor that can't be overlooked. Stellantis is now grappling with a monumental mountain of unsold vehicles, and when I say mountain, I really mean a staggering heap. Fast forward to March 2024, and reports indicate a jaw-dropping 1.4 million brand new vehicles are sitting idle in their inventory, which is a serious concern. So what on earth has led to this extraordinary buildup? To get to the bottom of it, we need to travel back in time a bit. Initially, Stellantis made some production changes after wrestling with supply chain issues. They ramped up production in a bid to boost their inventory numbers, but as customer demand started to shift and sales declined, they ended up drowning in an excess of vehicles that are proving to be tough sells. Digging deeper, many of these unsold vehicles are older models. They're outdated and simply don't align with what consumers are looking for in today's fast-paced market, especially in highly competitive segments like midsize SUVs. This has resulted in shockingly high days supply figures for Stellantis brands, which essentially means these cars are lingering on dealership lots for way longer than what's typically seen in the automotive industry. So how did they end up caught in such a precarious position? The answer resides in a complex mix of misguided strategies, shifting market dynamics, and quite frankly, a glaring lack of robust support from their manufacturer. Let's delve deeper into this convoluted situation because it's a tangled web. The Stellantis National Dealer Council has begun to sound the alarm, and guess who's becoming the center of scrutiny? That's right, CEO Carlos Tavares is facing some serious heat. What's the main concern? They're firmly placing the blame for the current declines in both market share and dealer revenues squarely on his so-called short-term decision-making. And mark my words, folks, this is not just a minor warning. It's a colossal red flag flapping wildly in the breeze. But why exactly? On September 10th, 2024, something significant happened in the automotive world. The Stellantis National Dealer Council sent out a letter that made waves, and they did not hold back at all. In this bold communication, they took a hard look at the strategies of CEO Carlos Tavares. They suggested that instead of focusing on sustainable growth for the company, Tavares seems more interested in chasing after quick financial gains. Yes, his tactics may have provided a brief spike in profits, enough to noticeably boost his earnings, but the dealers are not falling for the smoke and mirrors. They are sounding the alarm, claiming that this narrow viewpoint isn't simply a hiccup, it's an outright crisis. Their primary worry: this current path could lead to major disaster. What's even more startling is that they firmly believe we are beginning to see these dismal predictions play out right before our eyes. When you dig deeper into the situation, it gets even more concerning. Consider the emotional strain this is putting on the dealers. They are increasingly feeling alone and overlooked as they face mounting challenges, all without the crucial support they desperately need from Stellantis. The council didn't hold back either. They specifically pointed out the company's recent cuts in marketing budgets and the changes in compensation structures. They argue that these changes are causing significant harm to dealer profitability. Imagine it, numerous dealers are stuck with overflowing lots filled to the brim with unsold vehicles. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's turning into a serious financial headache and brewing frustration that's escalating within the dealer network. Now, let's pause for a moment to consider the repercussions of these recent decisions. The council has been extremely vocal about how Tavares' cost-cutting plans, while they may seem to be aimed at improving profit margins, are actually backfiring in a big way. Connecting dealer compensation to vehicle shipments rather than actual sales? That's a huge miscalculation. It leaves many dealers in a precarious financial situation, and just when you think it can't get worse, the ongoing layoffs and plant closures are adding fuel to the fire, intensifying fears about the long-term stability of Stellantis' operations in North America. Are you wondering what's brewing behind the scenes? Let's peel back the layers on this evolving story. At its core, the challenges that need to be addressed can be distilled down to three critical issues putting immense pressure on the entire dealer network. Let's start with the first one: shift away from traditional engines. Let's jump right into the exciting and ever-evolving world of cars, where the traditional engines that we once knew are gradually becoming relics of the past. The debate over engine replacements? It's heating up, and it's no laughing matter. Stellantis has just tossed a real game-changer into the arena with the unveiling of the Hurricane twin-turbo inline-6 engine. This powerful newcomer is set to take the place of the much-loved V8 engines in several of their vehicle models, and let me tell you, it has everyone talking. So what makes this engine so enticing? Well, for starters, it's designed to offer enhanced fuel economy and reduced emissions. Plus, it aims to maintain power levels that are comparable to those robust V8s that many people have grown to adore. That sounds fantastic, doesn't it? But hold on. Before we rush out to celebrate, we need to hit the brakes. This shift has sparked some serious criticism from both dealers and consumers. Let's take a moment to examine the preferences of consumers. For die-hard fans of the Dodge and Ram brands, letting go of the thrilling V8 engines that have provided years of exhilarating experiences is no easy feat. These loyal customers are understandably hesitant about shifting to turbocharged six-cylinder engines. There's a widespread concern that these changes could actually diminish the exhilarating driving adventures that have come to define these iconic brands. I mean, when you hear the names Dodge or Ram, what comes to mind? That's right, unadulterated power and that raw muscle vibe. Now, let's move on to the reception of the market regarding this new engine. The introduction of the Hurricane engine is not just a random upgrade, it's part of Stellantis' grander strategy to improve fuel efficiency and slashes carbon emissions as part of their initiative. However, here's the kicker: how are consumers truly feeling about this major shift? Are they ready to embrace this new technology, or will they cling to the nostalgic dreams of those thunderous classic V8 engines? Speaking of which, we're at a crucial crossroads of performance and efficiency. The goal behind the Hurricane engine is to hit that sweet spot between the two. It comes complete with two low-inertia turbochargers that ensure a quick throttle response alongside advanced fuel injection systems aimed at ramping up efficiency. Sounds stellar, right? But wait, let's not forget the critics. There are many voices in the room raising valid concerns that this move might alienate a significant segment of buyers who remain faithful to the traditional V8 driving experience. This disconnect is starting to show show in the sales figures, especially as potential buyers compare their options against competitors still proudly showcasing those classic powerful V8 engines. Ineffective incentive strategies. Now let's delve into a significant problem, the strategy behind incentives, or the lack thereof. Stellantis is lagging behind the competition when it comes to incentive spending. This is a seriously important issue. While other automakers crank up their discounts and financing deals to boost sales, Stellantis seems to be sticking with a limited promotional approach, which has left their dealers scrambling. They're feeling a bit jilted in an already challenging market, and that's putting it mildly. Let's talk about the dealers themselves, because they are definitely feeling the heat. Financial pressures are mounting as they wrestle with an ever-growing pile of unsold inventory. Without substantial backing from the manufacturer, these dealers are caught in a whirlwind of challenges. Many have reported that the costs associated with holding on to all this unsold stock are becoming increasingly burdensome, leading to real worries about significant losses. Just imagine the stress of watching all that inventory collecting dust. It's enough to drive anyone up the wall. On top of that, a loud chorus of dealers is calling for bolstered support from Stellantis. The National Dealer Council isn't mincing words. They are demanding that the company step up its incentive programs. Why? To give those dealers a fighting chance to clear out the excess inventory and regain a sense of competitiveness in this tricky landscape. If Stellantis fails to rev up its incentive offerings, dealers are justifiably concerned that more and more unsold vehicles will accumulate, negatively impacting their profitability even further. The stakes are incredibly high, and there's no question that some kind of change is essential if these dealers want to stand back on solid ground. Rising prices amid low sales. Let's shift our focus to the rising prices amid plummeting sales. What does all this mean for Stellantis? As we take a closer look at the numbers, it becomes alarmingly clear that sales figures have taken a nosedive. Jeep, for instance, has suffered a painful 9% drop in sales, while Ram is facing an astonishing 20% decline. In light of these dwindling numbers, Stellantis has made the decision to increase the prices of their vehicles. The reasoning behind this choice: they want to maintain profit margins even as demand slips away. But hold on, this strategy might just backfire in a spectacular fashion. So what does this mean for buyers? Affordability is becoming a pressing issue. Higher prices are sending potential buyers running for the hills, especially in today's market where consumers are tightening their belts. With rising interest rates and an uncertain economic outlook looming overhead, people are becoming much more selective about where they want to spend their hard-earned cash. Who wants to shell out more money for a car that might not meet the lofty expectations set by competitors? Let's dig even deeper into the inventory challenges that are now facing Stellantis. The rise in prices, combined with those frustrating low sales numbers, has led to an overwhelming surplus of inventory. As of March 2024, Stellantis reported an eye-popping number: 1.4 million vehicles simply sitting in stock. That's a jaw-dropping figure, and it significantly exceeds what's considered standard in the industry. This surplus leaves dealers grappling with cars that not only risk becoming outdated, but also carry price tags that many eager shoppers are hesitant to touch. Picture the dealers who are now left holding the bag. They are tasked with moving vehicles off their lots that just don't meet current consumer desires. With costs rising and sales stagnating, this is a recipe for disaster that nobody wants to witness unfold. So here's the big question: can Stellantis change direction fast enough to regain its footing in an increasingly unstable market, or are they veering straight into a much deeper mess? What's your take on this perplexing pricing strategy? How does it affect them? Let's break down the details of each vehicle and figure it out together. Chrysler is navigating some choppy waters right now, with a significant decline that stems from a seriously limited vehicle portfolio and mounting challenges in staying competitive in the ever-evolving automotive market. Can you believe that the brand's lineup has shrunk down to just two models, the Chrysler 300 sedan and the Pacifica minivan? This alarming trend raised some major red flags about the future viability of Chrysler. First off, let's talk about that limited vehicle lineup. The current selection from Chrysler is downright alarming, consisting solely of the 300 and Pacifica. I mean, seriously, that lack of diversity doesn't just limit consumer choice, it also puts Chrysler at a severe disadvantage against rivals who are flaunting a much broader range of vehicles. We're talking about the increasingly popular SUVs and crossovers that seem to be taking over the market. The automotive landscape has shifted dramatically, and now traditional sedans like the Chrysler 300 are struggling to remain relevant. Sure, the Pacifica is still holding its own in the minivan sedan segment, but the sales numbers just don't cut it to keep the entire brand afloat on its own. Now let's unpack the pricing situation because it's becoming a talking point among consumers. Chrysler's remaining models are starting to feel a little overpriced compared to competitors. Take the Pacifica, for instance. While it's well regarded for its family-friendly design and features, many folks are looking at alternatives like the Honda Odyssey and Toyota Sienna, which are often seen as more reasonably priced. This pricing strategy is making it super tough for Chrysler to attract those budget-conscious consumers who have plenty of options out there at more palatable price points. On the back end of things, we're seeing a concerning trend, a dismissal of revitalization suggestions within the company. Reports indicate that attempts to breathe new life into the Chrysler brand have been brushed aside by Stellantis management. This hints at a troubling lack of strategic vision for the road ahead. Industry analysts and insiders are buzzing about various ways to rejuvenate Chrysler's offerings, from jumping into electric vehicles to rolling out new models that align with today's consumer preferences. Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares has come out and stated that brand strategy decisions will revolve around performance metrics instead of emotional attachments to legacy brands. While this pragmatic approach might have its merits, it raises some serious concerns over Chrysler's long-term prospects, especially as it competes for resources among a large portfolio that includes multiple brands. What does this mean for Chrysler's competitive edge? The combination of a slim product lineup and high prices is seriously chipping away at its market position in an increasingly crowded automotive marketplace. As consumers lean toward brands that offer more diverse and affordable options, Chrysler risks fading into the background. But what about Ram? The pricing and model offerings for Ram trucks have become a real conundrum for consumers, especially with the discontinuation of popular models and the rising prices tied to more advanced technological options. Let's unravel this current situation regarding Ram truck pricing and what it means for buyers in today's market. Starting off with the discontinuation of models, the Ram 1500 Classic has been pulled from the lineup, and that's a game changer. This truck was the go-to entry-level option for many shoppers looking for a reliable pickup without breaking the bank. Now, with this model gone, buyers are greeted with a higher starting price for the base 2025 Ram 1500, which kicks off at $42,270. That's a jump from the $40,700 price tag of the Classic. This shift has effectively taken away a budget-friendly option for those eager to drive off in a new Ram. The absence of the Ram 1500 Classic has sparked serious concerns about overall affordability in the Ram lineup. With those new higher starting prices for models combined with the lack of lower cost alternatives, budget-conscious consumers are left feeling squeezed. As a result, many potential buyers might find themselves exploring competitor brands that offer more wallet-friendly entry-level models. It's like a domino effect that could turn them away from Ram altogether. Moving on to rising prices for new models, you'll notice that the latest offerings in the Ram lineup, especially the 2025 Ram 1500, come loaded with fancy tech and features that promise to level up performance and comfort. Just take the introduction of the Hurricane engine family, for example. This powerhouse includes a twin-turbo inline-6 engine to replace those traditional V8s, boasting improved fuel efficiency and powerful output. But the catch? All this innovation is driving up the price tags across the board. The cost of various trims for the 2025 Ram 1500 starts around $42,270 for the base tradesman model, but that's just the beginning. High-end trims like the luxurious tungsten model can soar to about $89,070. And then there's the Ram 1500 TRX, the ultimate performance machine, starting at an eye-watering $98,335. That's a lot of cash for a truck. Now, how are consumers reacting to all these changes? As prices rise alongside declining sales, evidenced by a troubling 20% drop in Ram sales, buyers are definitely feeling the financial pressure. Many are now hesitant to plunk down their money on higher-priced vehicles, particularly with economic uncertainties looming over their heads, like inflation and rising interest rates. This hesitation can significantly dent purchasing decisions, leading prospective buyers to either delay their purchases or scout for alternatives that may deliver better value. Jeep. Jeep is more than just a name. It's a symbol of adventure and ruggedness that has etched itself into the automotive scene. But right now, this iconic brand is facing some tough times, grappling with declining sales and rising prices that pose a real challenge to its future in a fiercely competitive SUV marketplace. Jeep has long been the star of the off-road world, with fan favorites like the Wrangler and Cherokee enticing everyone from hardcore enthusiasts to everyday drivers. But hold on, there's some troubling news on the horizon. Between 2018 and 2023, Jeep's sales took a nosedive, dropping from 6th to 9th place among the top US automotive brands. What's behind this dip? Increased competition from heavyweights like Ford and Toyota is making things even more complicated. They are rolling out comparable models that are simply priced better. Now, let's dive into one of the hottest topics, Jeep's skyrocketing prices. Right now, the average cost of a new Jeep is unbelievable. It's hit over $55,000. And if you're eyeing the Wrangler Rubicon, be prepared to cough up even more, as its price can soar to about $85,000. While these price hikes often come from cutting-edge tech and top-notch safety features, they also put a serious strain on wallets. To make things trickier, external factors like inflation and ongoing supply chain issues have cast a shadow over the buying experience, leaving many potential buyers wondering if they're really getting their money's worth. In light of these challenges, Jeep is rolling out a turnaround strategy to rejuvenate its brand image and boost sales. The CEO has recognized that aggressive pricing tactics and promotional offers are essential to clear out existing inventory and attract those budget-conscious shoppers. This means slashing prices on some popular models and ramping up marketing to woo back customers. And Dodge? Switching gears to Dodge's scenario, the brand is ensnared in a complex web of challenges surrounding its inventory and product strategy, a turmoil that's rippling through its market performance and dealer relationships. At the heart of the dilemma lies an exorbitant inventory surplus, most notably exemplified by the Dodge Hornet, with an overwhelming 550 days supply languishing in dealer lots. As of June 2024, it's evident this model isn't resonating with consumers. This overstock scenario is further exacerbated by the fierce competition within the compact SUV segment, where buyers have a veritable smorgasbord of alternatives that could offer more bang for their buck. Market dynamics reveal a gaping chasm between Dodge's offerings and consumer demand, evidenced by the dismal sales of merely 1,283 units over 45 days. Dealers are consequently burdened with unsold inventories, incurring substantial financial strain. Moreover, Dodge's pivot towards electrification has sparked a mixed bag of reactions. The ambitious shift towards electric models, including electrified renditions of classics like the Charger and Challenger, aligns with broader sustainability trends but hasn't universally charmed the brand's loyal fan base. The essence of power and performance that cemented these muscle cars into legendary status doesn't seamlessly transition to their electric counterparts, leaving aficionados apprehensive about whether the electrified future can genuinely deliver the exhilarating driving escapades they've cherished. Amid this strategic shift, there's palpable disappointment among enthusiasts for classic muscle cars, a segment that feels overlooked as Dodge phases out iconic models without presenting compelling alternatives. This strategic misalignment has left loyalists feeling marginalized, yearning for the thrill that once defined the Dodge driving experience. Dealerships too are voicing disquiet over product strategy misfires. The inventory quagmire and a portfolio that doesn't align with consumer expectations are ushering in sales declines and burgeoning dealer dissatisfaction. This disconnect suggests a pressing need for Dodge to realign its strategies with market realities and consumer preferences to rectify declining trends and restore dealer confidence. But what's your take on the evolving dynamics of these iconic automotive brands? Let's know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.